Part 16. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 151. Lu Yang glanced around and replied in a low voice, after this building was built, the original owner opened a supermarket here. As a result, just a month after it opened, employees in his supermarket had frequent accidents. It wasn't because they fell. Even if you are hit by a car on the stairs, or if you are walking downstairs, you will be hit by objects falling from the shelves or upstairs. There are also orders from his supermarket. I heard that there are frequent accidents. The orders that have been negotiated often turn out to be bad once it's time to sign the contract. Now the owner can't continue to operate, and the supermarket has closed down, so he wants to. This building is being transferred, but the location and surrounding environment are really good. After hearing this, Shen Tianxing immediately said to Lu Yang, "Send me the address and I'll go over and have a look now." Okay. Lu Yang quickly sent the address. Shen Tianxing took a look and saw that it was indeed the building at the intersection in front of number 1 middle school. She seemed to have some memory of it. Yan Wenzhen drove Shen Tianxing in a 5-star car and quickly sent him there. Lu Yang was standing next to the intersection. As soon as she saw Shen Tianxing's 5-star car approaching, she waved desperately to the driver Yan Wenzhen. Yan Wenzhen quickly turned the steering wheel and went around to the bottom of the building. As soon as the car stopped, Lu Yang smiled attentively and stepped forward to open the door for Shen Tianxing. "Master, please get out of the car." Shen Tianxing glanced at her with a smile and said calmly, "Lu Yang, you don't have to please me like this. It doesn't feel like you anymore. Where is your shrewdness and ability? Where is your white-collar elite temperament? Where have they gone?" Lu Yang laughed and said, "Oh, Master Shen, those temperaments are all for show. In front of you, a real master, I, Lu Yang, really don't dare to show off. I'm afraid that I'm not good enough. What will you do if you hate me, Master? Then I will cry to death." Shen Tianxing was amused by Lu Yang and laughed, "Okay, I'm sorry, let's go, take me around and take a look around. By the way, is the host here?" Lu Yang replied, "No, after I saw the transfer here, I first asked people around me about the situation. I want to ask you what you mean first. If we are sure that we are interested, I will contact this person." "Landlord." Shen Tianxing nodded, "Okay, let me take a look at the layout and feng shui here first. According to what you said, it is so evil. Not only is there a problem with the external environment here, I'm afraid there is also a problem inside." Lu Yang looked confused. "Huh? Isn't the surrounding environment very good? Look at the roads leading in all directions. Is there any problem with this?" Shen Tianxing chuckled and said, "You don't know this, right? Look at these roads, one by one pointing to this building. Do you know what this pattern is said in feng shui?" Lu Yang blinked, with an expression begging for information. "What did you say?" Shen Tianxing replied calmly, "In terms of feng shui, this pattern is like a pattern that can pierce the heart with thousands of arrows. It is one of the top 10 evil feng shui evil spirits. When encountering such an evil building, people who often work or live in this building will be affected. It's not going to end well. Thousands of arrows piercing the heart? The top 10 evil spirits in feng shui? Oh my god, these words are so scary." After Lu Yang was amazed, he continued to ask like a curious baby, "Master Shen, why are the people in the buildings next to me okay?" Shen Tianxing continued to explain to her, "Because these roads are opposite to this building, and other buildings are not opposite, so the impact will not be big. This building has a 5-story main building and 3-story wings on both sides. It has white walls, blue tiles, cornices, and raised corners. The overall building looks very much like the classical features of Sioux City, shaped like a bird spreading its wings. If it weren't for the situation of thousands of arrows piercing the heart, the design of this building would still be very good. It's a pity that the appearance of this bird spreading its wings is exactly a taboo when it comes to the pattern of thousands of arrows piercing the heart. Can the people or companies in this building still be able to fly? After looking at the outside, Shen Tianxing said to Liu Yang, "Let's go inside the building and take a look. There is an old man guarding the door of this building." As soon as he saw Shen Tianxing, Liu Yang, and Yan Wenzhen going in, he quickly came out of the guard room to intercept them. "Hey, hey, hey, you three little girls, you are not allowed to go in here, you should get out quickly." Shen Tianxing winked at Liu Yang. Liu Yang immediately smiled and said back to the uncle, "Hello, uncle. That's it? I saw that your building is going to be transferred, so I wanted to go in and have a look to see if it's worth our money." "That, uncle, can I go in and have a look?" The old man looked up and down at Liu Yang, Shen Tianxing, and Yan Wenzhen, and felt that these three girls did not look like ordinary people. He asked one more question, "Do you really want to buy a house?" Liu Yang nodded affirmatively, "We want to buy, but we have to see the building first, don't you agree?" The old man nodded and said, "That's the truth. However, if you want to look at the building inside, you have to call my boss first and ask him to take you in. This is what my boss has personally explained. Otherwise, if something happens to you after you enter, it will be hard for me, an old man, to explain it to the boss." Liu Yang looked at Shen Tianxing again. Shen Tianxing nodded towards her. Liu Yang then asked again, "Do you have your boss's phone number?" The old man quickly said, Yes, please remember it, 139XXXXXXXX. Liu Yang quickly took out his mobile phone, wrote down the number, and continued to ask the old man, "Uncle, what is your boss's name?" The old man replied, "Our boss's surname is Liu and his name is Liu Dehai." Liu Yang smiled and said to the old man, "Uncle, thank you." The old man looked at Liu Yang's smiling face. She was so polite, and he had a good impression of her in his heart. He also smiled and replied, "You're welcome." Under the signal from Shen Tianxing's eyes, Liu Yang used her mobile phone to dial Liu Dehai's number. Hello. Are you Mr. Liu Dehai?" Liu Dehai has a loud voice and his voice is rough. "I am Liu Dehai, who are you?" Liu Yang smiled again and said, "Hello, Boss Liu. My surname is Liu, so I saw the transfer announcement you posted, and I came here to look at the building today. We have already arrived at your building. I don't know where you are now. Isn't it convenient for me to come over and talk?" Liu Dehai was worried about things on this floor. Although the location of his building is very good, when those people heard that many things happened in this building, they did not dare to take over. Even if there are one or two people who want to take over, the price is very low. At this price, he definitely doesn't want to sell it. When he heard that someone was coming to see the building, Liu Dehai immediately stood up and replied repeatedly, convenient, I'll be there right away. Just wait for me for 15 minutes. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 152. 15 minutes later. A tall, muscular, middle-aged man with a fat head and big ears, wearing a thick gold chain around his neck, appeared in front of Shen Tianxing and Liu Yang on time with the image of a nouveau riche. Liu Dehai looked at Liu Yang, Shen Tianxing, and others, and asked directly, "I wonder who is Miss Liu?" Liu Yang stood up and stretched out his hand, "I am Liu Yang." "Are you Mr. Liu?" Liu Dehai smiled and nodded, "Yes, I am Liu Dehai." After shaking hands with Liu Yang, he asked her, "Are you going in to view the building now?" Liu Yang nodded, "Yes, is it convenient?" Liu Dehai thought for a while and decided to show off his cards with them first and tell them the actual situation, so as to avoid anything happening and the responsibility falling on him. "Ms. Liu, it's like this. My building has been a little rough since it was built. I opened a supermarket here, but it can't be opened now. The tenants upstairs are always showing up either big or small. All the minor accidents are gone now. If you want to rent or buy, you should think carefully about it. Don't say that I, Lu Dahai, lied to you. When Shen Tianxing saw that Lu Dahai was not mercenary at this time, but was honest with them, and was not afraid that his business would fail, he couldn't help but give him a high look. Shen Tianxing asked, "Boss Lu, there is something wrong with your building. Didn't you ask a feng shui master to come and check it out?" Lu Dahai sighed, "Of course, I hired several people, and it cost me hundreds of thousands, but the problem still exists. I was really forced to have no choice, so I wanted to transfer this building." Shen Tianxing smiled lightly and said, "Boss Lu, you are honest. We are not afraid of you saying that we will not buy this building." Lu Dahai waved his hand generously, "It's nothing. Even if I want to find a new home, I have to do it according to my conscience. I can't bury my heart. Otherwise, if something happens to the next home, what good can I do? Let's do it. Business people have to act with conscience, don't you think?" Shen Tianxing smiled and nodded, "You are right. You have to act according to your conscience. As long as Boss Lu sticks to his heart, he will definitely be rich in the future." When Lu Yang heard what Shen Tianxing said, he smiled directly at Lu Dahai and said, "Congratulations to Boss Lu, Master Shen's golden words, you won't have to worry about it in the future." Lu Dahai was still a little confused. He looked at Lu Yang and asked in surprise, "Master Shen? Where is the master? Are you talking about this little girl?" Lu Yang smiled and nodded, and introduced him, "This is the famous Master Shen. Most people can't ask Master Shen to come out. Now Master Shen wants to do charity work and wants to find an office building. I am an errand boy, I happened to take a fancy to the location of your building and thought it was pretty good, so Master Shen and I came over to have a look." Lu Dahai looked at Shen Tianxing in shock and asked with confusion, "There is such a young master? How disrespectful, disrespectful." He thought to himself, if this little girl is a master, she is either joking, or she is really capable. Looking at Shen Tianxing's clear and spiritual appearance, she really looked like a little fairy. Lu Dahai still chose to believe that she was the latter, a little expert with real abilities. Shen Tianxing still had a good impression of Lu Dahai, and said to him bluntly, "Boss Lu, take us up and have a look. Not only is the feng shui of your building bad in the outer environment, but people may have done something to it inside the building as well, hands and feet." When Lu Dahai heard that someone might have tampered with his building, he was immediately shocked. "What did you say?" "Master, you said that someone also tampered with my building. How is this possible? Who would do this? Harm me?" Shen Tianxing smiled and said, "If it's true, let's go in and take a look." Lu Dahai seemed to have thought of something. He narrowed his eyes and immediately said to Shen Tianxing and Lu Yang, "Let's go, I'll take you in and have a look. With the master escorting you, there shouldn't be any accidents, right? I can't even go in now, I feel a little flustered, and I always feel that the atmosphere inside seems to be very oppressive and permeable." Shen Tianxing smiled lightly and said, "Don't worry. As long as I'm here, I will never put you in danger." After hearing Shen Tianxing's assurance, Lu Dahai breathed a sigh of relief and respectfully extended his hand, "Master Shen, please come in." Shen Tianxing nodded and walked at the front. Lu Dahai, Lu Yang, and Yan Wenzhen followed behind Shen Tianxing. Lu Dahai also said along the way, "Master Shen, I put a lot of thought into the construction of this building. Each floor of the main building has more than 5,000 square meters, and the auxiliary buildings on both sides also have more than 3,000 square meters. Square feet, big enough." Shen Tianxing nodded. Lu Dahai led her to the window again and looked behind. "Master Shen, look behind here. I have also decorated a parking lot and a small garden for people to rest." I originally opened a supermarket on this floor. The first floor sells daily necessities, the second floor sells clothes, the third floor sells electrical appliances, the fourth floor is used as an office, and the fifth floor is used as a dormitory for administrators and employees. The fourth floor office and the fifth floor are redundant. I'll rent out the whole house. Originally, I was thinking about flexing my muscles and making a lot of money, but I couldn't imagine it. After opening the business, messy things happened one after another. As a result, I not only failed to make a lot of money, but also lost money. I spent a lot of money, became disgraced, and was laughed at by my friends several times. When Shen Tianxing heard his last words, he gave a faint reminder, "Boss Lu, you are a treacherous person with chaotic lines. You must pay attention to the villains around you and be careful when making friends." When Lu Dehai heard this, his heart skipped a beat again. "Master Shen, do you mean to say that I fell here this time because of some villain?" Shen Tianxing didn't say yes or no. She pointed upstairs. "Let's go to the rooftop and take a look." As soon as a few people went up to the rooftop, they felt the howling wind and the chill on their bodies. Shen Tianxing was protected by spiritual energy, and Lu Yang, Yan Wenzhen, and Lu Dehai couldn't help but shudder. Lu Yang muttered, "Why does it feel so cold up here? Master, is there anything special up there?" Shen Tianxing nodded directly and said, "Yes. I said before that there must be something wrong in this building. Boss Lu, look at the four corners of this building. Were there these sand piles before?" Lu Dehai shook his head. "It didn't happen before. I remember that when the real estate was finished, everything was cleaned up. Who put this here?" Shen Tianxing glanced sideways at him. "You don't usually go up to this rooftop, do you?" Lu Dehai nodded. "I've never been here before." "Master, is there something wrong with the sand?" You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 153. Shen Tianxing nodded, walked to the corner of the sand pile, channeled his spiritual power, and with a flick of his delicate hand, the thing buried under the sand pile instantly appeared in front of their eyes. Lu Dehai's eyes widened and he stared intently at the black, coffin-like wooden box more than a foot long that emerged from the sand. The black wooden box had the blood of an unknown animal sprinkled on it. The blood had dried up, and the red and black tones, combined with the coffin box, looked particularly strange, making Lu Dehai, Lu Yang, and Yan Wenzhen all feel that the hairs on their bodies stood up. Lu Dehai's expression was more like he had seen a ghost, and he was frightened. He asked Shen Tianxing in a trembling voice, "Master, what the hell is this?" Shen Tianxing turned around and asked him, "Do you want to see what's inside?" Lu Dehai hesitated for a moment. He was scared and curious at the same time. Finally, he nodded heavily and said, "I want to see it." He also wants to know, who is harming him. What method was used to harm him? Shen Tianxing reminded him, "What's inside is not good. You have to be mentally prepared and don't be scared for a while." Lu Dehai nodded slightly, took a deep breath, pretended to be unafraid and said, "Master, I'm ready." Shen Tianxing smiled to himself, and with another wave of his delicate hand, the lid of the coffin box opened instantly. A strong bloody stench instantly spread to the surroundings. Shen Tianxing quickly blocked his breathing. But Lu Dehai, Lu Yang, and Yan Wenzhen were pitiful. They were almost vomited by the extremely unpleasant smell. The three of them quickly covered their noses, breathing as little as possible to prevent the stench from penetrating into their noses. When they saw clearly the dead objects in the coffin box, their stomachs were churning again. Lu Yang couldn't bear it anymore, ran to the side and vomited all over the place. Lu Dehai also looked at the dead things in the coffin box with a shocked expression. This is a poisonous snake that was directly nailed to death with long iron nails. The venomous snake's body clearly exudes the stench of rotting corpses, but the snake still seems to be alive, with no trace of decay on its appearance. But the snake's eyes were wide open, filled with the overwhelming resentment of the snake being crucified alive. Shen Tianxing didn't want to watch anymore, so he directly used the fireball technique to burn the black coffin box and the poisonous snake completely. Next, Shen Tianxing took out black cats, roosters, and mice that were also crucified in the other three corners. Lu Dehai felt cold in his heart as he looked at these animals that died tragically. Who on earth hates him so much that he would use such vicious and despicable methods to deal with him? When Shen Tianxing saw the angry expression on Lu Dehai's face, he knew what he was thinking, and he felt some sympathy for his careless friendship. She kindly reminded him, "Boss Lu, think about who recently tried to buy your building at a low price. That person is the one who harmed you." When Shen Tianxing said this, a familiar face instantly appeared in Lu Dehai's mind. His expression changed. This person is a friend that he regards as a brother. Was he really the murderer? Lu Dehai didn't want to believe it. But his mind couldn't help but think of what he had said and what he had done. Lu Dehai suddenly understood. Why was it that the Feng Shui master he had spent money on was of no use at all? Because the two Feng Shui masters who came to see the building were introduced by him as a good brother. He is really stupid. He had been manipulated by this good brother for so many years, and he didn't even know it. If Master Shen hadn't helped him break the situation this time, I'm afraid it would be his good brother who would take over his building. He would have to thank him for being sold by him and help him count the money. Chen Tianxing looked at Lu Dehai's expression that looked like crying and laughing at the same time, and sighed in his heart, "Boss Lu, I have broken the 4 evil formations now. I can also set up formations to block the evil formations outside where thousands of arrows pierce the heart. Let the feng shui of this building return to normal. I just don't know if you can still sell this building." Lu Dehai nodded solemnly, "Sell. Of course I have to sell. Rather than taking advantage of those cruel villains, I might as well sell it to the master." When Shen Tianxing heard what Lu Dehai said, he smiled with satisfaction, "Then let's find a place to sit down and talk about the price." She really took a fancy to this building. First of all, she likes this location and environment very much. As long as she puts a little thought into the layout, she can turn it into a pattern where money comes from all directions. Although hers is a charitable foundation, she has invested a large amount of money into the charitable foundation, and this charitable fund also needs to be invested and operated. The more money the foundation can make from its investment, the more good deeds it can do and the more effective and virtuous cycle operations it can achieve. Lu Dehai waved his hand boldly and said, "There is no need to negotiate the price. I gave this building to Master as my thanks for Master's help this time. It can also be regarded as Lu's small kindness to Master. Please accept it, Master." Shen Tianxing shook his head and said with a smile, "Boss Lu is a generous person, but I, Shen Tianxing, can't be ignorant. The area of your building is not small. It must have cost at least 20 to 30 million to build it in its entirety, right?" Lu Dehai nodded and replied honestly, "It did cost more than 20 million to build, but I can still afford this amount of money. Master, I really want to make friends with you, so please give me some face, just take it, otherwise, I will be embarrassed to find you again in the future." Shen Tianxing still shook his head, "No, if you don't charge me, I won't feel safe using this building. You'd better negotiate a price." Lu Dehai saw Shen Tianxing's stubborn look on his face and insisted on giving him money. After thinking about it, he said, "Then Master, just give him 5 million. Based on the value of his building, the cut-off price he gave was basically the same as giving it away." Shen Tianxing smiled and said, "Okay, just 5 million, plus a favor from me. If Boss Lu needs anything in the future, Just ask Boss Lu and I will definitely help Boss Lu solve his problems. Lu Dahai was overjoyed when he heard this. Then I'll thank you first, master. He had just seen Shen Tianxing cast a spell with his own eyes. The fireball spell came easily. Compared with those scammers, Master Shen was like a living god. After negotiating the price, Lu Dahai smiled and said to Shen Tianxing and Lu Yang, Master Shen, it's getting late. Would you like me to treat you to lunch and express my gratitude? Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 154. Shen Tianxing thought for a while and nodded happily. Okay, since Boss Lu is so sincere, let Boss Lu spend a lot of money today. Lu Dahai originally just tried to invite Shen Tianxing, but when he saw that Shen Tianxing was actually willing to give him face and agreed to the dinner, he laughed loudly with joy. That's great. Master Shen, let's go first, let's go have a meal, and after we finish the meal, we'll go through the transfer procedures in the afternoon. What do you think? Shen Tianxing wished that the transfer procedures could be completed as quickly as possible, so he immediately smiled and said, okay. This Lu Dahai is very cheerful in life and work, and makes her feel comfortable getting along with him. He really has a good temper with her. And just after Shen Tianxing destroyed the four evil formation in one breath, in a courtyard not far away, a middle-aged Taoist priest wearing a Taoist robe spat out a mouthful of blood in an instant. His eyes flashed with shock and panic. Which master broke the four evil formations he had set up? Did he suffer such severe backlash? Now that a master of mystical arts has appeared here, he can no longer stay here, lest the other party will find him and destroy his cultivation. The rule on the Suanmen Road is that once anyone discovers that someone is using mystical skills to harm others, everyone on the Suanmen Road can get rid of them. If you encounter an evil way that uses mysticism to harm people's lives, everyone can find it and punish them. The middle-aged Taoist priest quickly collected his important belongings and left the small courtyard as quickly as possible, without even saying hello to the employer who invited him to do the work. Here Shen Tianxing and Lu Yang got into the 5-star car driven by Yan Wenzhen. Lu Dahai led the way in his BMW, driving all the way to Minjiao Tower, the most famous century-old store in Sioux City. Minjiao Tower is known as the first tower in Sioux City. It is said that when a certain emperor went to Jiangnan for a private visit, he dined in this Minjiao Tower. The emperor visited Minjiao Tower in person, which naturally made Minjiao Tower even more famous. After hundreds of years, Minjiao Tower has been standing in Sioux City, and its reputation has been passed down to this day. Minjiao Ilu Sioux City cuisine is very famous, tastes very authentic, and is very popular among locals. On the way there, Lu Dahai called an acquaintance to book a private room. When they arrived, Fang Huiwai, the catering manager of Minjiao building, was already standing at the door to greet them. Lu Dahai often brings customers here to eat, and he is also very familiar with Fang Huiwai, the manager of the catering department of Minjiao building. Fang Huiwai is also very good at judging people. As soon as she received Lu Dahai's call, she prepared the best private room for him. Seeing Lu Dahai's BMW parked in front of the store, Fang Huiwai smiled and stepped forward to greet her. Mr. Lu, welcome. Lu Dahai winked at her and quickly walked towards the 5-star car behind him. He diligently tried to open the door for Shen Tianxing, but Shen Tianxing had already opened the door and got out of the car. It was only at this time that Fang Huiwai saw the 5-star car behind with a very impressive license plate. There was a flash of shock in her eyes. The guest Mr. Lu invited today seems to have a great background. Fang Huiwai also followed Lu Dahai and greeted him with a smile. Welcome to Minjiao Tower. I am Fang Huiwai, the catering manager of Minjiao Tower. Hello. Shen Tianxing nodded towards Fang Huiwai, and walked towards Minjiao Tower calmly under Lu Dahai's attentive greeting. Fang Huiwai hurriedly walked a few steps to the front, guiding them with a friendly smile. Lu Yang and Yan Wenzhen followed closely behind Shen Tianxing. After arriving in the private room, Lu Dehai made sure to let Shen Tianxing take the seat. "Master, sit here." He himself sat on Shen Tianxing's right-hand side and gave up the seat on the left to Lu Yang and Yan Wenzhen. When Lu Dehai asked Shen Tianxing to order, she also ordered too symbolically. Lu Yang and Yan Wenzhen declined and directly let Lu Dehai take the order. Lu Dehai ordered 12 dishes, 1 soup and 5 desserts in one go, making up 18 plates. Lu Dehai was afraid that Shen Tianxing would think he was wasting his order by ordering too much, so he explained with a smile, "Master Shen, it's a rare opportunity for me to treat you, so you must eat well." Shen Tianxing smiled and said, "Boss Lu is so polite. You have ordered so many dishes, but we are not allowed to open our bellies to eat." Lu Dehai laughed and said, "That's it, Master Shen, I, Lu Dehai, am a rough man and a nouveau riche in the eyes of others, but I am a fairly upright person and will not harm others behind their backs. What will happen to Master Shen in the future? If you need to give me orders, please just give them, and don't treat me like an outsider, okay?" Shen Tianxing smiled and nodded, "Okay." This meal, with Lu Dehai's talkativeness and humor, was a feast for both host and guest. Seeing that the time was almost up, Shen Tianxing said to Lu Dehai, "Boss Lu, let's go too. We have to go through the transfer procedures later. Walk." Just now, Lu Dehai had already gone out to pay the bills in advance, and now everyone went straight out and prepared to leave. When they left the private room, a group of drunk men next door also walked out. This group of men were drunk, and when they saw the elegant and refined Shen Tianxing, as well as the slim and sexy Lu Yang and Yan Wenzhen, they were so lustful that they even dared to rush up and stop them. What makes people even more angry is that an old man with few hairs dared to extend his hands towards Shen Tianxing. "Girl, what's your name?" Yan Wenzhen stepped forward, grabbed the old man's wrist, and gave it a hard squeeze. "Ah!" The old man instantly let out shrill screams, "My hand! My hand! It hurts me to death." The next moment, he roared at the men around him with a ferocious face, "You are all dead, come on! Kill this little bitch! Kill him!" Most of the drunkenness in those men had been frightened away by the screams of this salty old man. At this time, when they took a closer look at Shen Tianxing and the others, they realized that these 3 women all looked extraordinary, especially Yan Wenzhen, whose sinister eyes were like a wild wolf, which scared them to the core. Now they also know that this group of women is definitely not someone they can mess with. Every man has given up and wants to retreat without leaving any trace. At this moment, when one of the men in the group saw Lu Dehai following Shen Tianxing, his eyes suddenly lit up, he stood up with a smile and said, "Brother Hai, why are you here?" As soon as Lu Dehai saw the other party, a flash of coldness flashed across his eyes. This dear friend was none other than the good brother whom he had previously suspected of using vicious and despicable methods to harm him. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 155. Lu Dehai also knew that it was not time for them to break up, so he responded with a smile, "Oh, it turns out to be Brother Ma. Why are you here too? Are these people your friends?" Ma Junke saw that something was wrong with the situation, and quickly squeezed to Lu Dehai, whispering in his ear, "Brother Hai, what happened today is just a misunderstanding. Look, can you do me a favor and come forward to talk to these few people? Can a young lady please make peace with me?" When Lu Dehai heard what he said, he looked like he was frightened and shook his head violently. "Brother Ma, please don't hurt me. We can't afford to offend any of these young ladies. You have seen what happened today, but I don't have the guts to open my mouth to them. Besides, I invited them to come here for dinner today. It was an opportunity that I begged my grandpa and grandma for. Who would have thought that something like this would happen and I would have to apologize to them later? I advise you, it's best to keep your eyes bright, but don't offend those people who should be offended. Lu Dehai said the last sentence word for word. Even Ma Zhengke, no matter how stupid he was, could hear the warning and caution in his words. Ma Zhengke looked at Shen Tianxing with an indifferent expression, Yan Wenzhen with a sinister look on his face, and Lu Yang standing there with a cold smile. He felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar and was chilled all over. None of these three women had any fear on their faces. What are they from? What do you rely on? While they were talking, the old man with dirty hands over there became furious again when he saw that no one of his companions dared to go up to seek justice for him under the shock of Yan Wenzhen's eyes. He said to one of his subordinates, Wang Gexin, you humming come to me. If you don't come back, I will fire you from your position. Wang Gexin looked bitter and stammered, Director, I can't beat them. The old man with dirty hands yelled sternly, if you can't beat me, I'll beat you. Oh my God, my hand hurts so much. It hurts so much. Call an ambulance for me. An ambulance. As the manager of the catering department, Fang Huiwei saw the mess here and was cursing in her heart, especially despising the shameless and immoral old man. But on the surface, she still had to smile, and she had to step forward with a friendly smile and say to the old man with dirty hands, Director Lu, we have prepared the car and will take you to the hospital. What do you think? Then hurry up and leave. Before leaving, the arrogant old man glared at Yan Wenzhen fiercely, and even dared to threaten her and said, My dear cousin, just wait for me. I will find someone to deal with you later. A trace of coldness flashed in Yan Wenzhen's eyes, and he stepped forward again, grabbed the dirty old man by the collar, and slapped him back and forth more than a dozen times at a fast speed. The beating made the old man with dirty hands scream in pain, and his face was swollen like a pig's head. The others were shocked by the powerful murderous aura that erupted from Yan Wenzhen, and no one dared to step forward to stop her from beating someone. As for women like Fang Huiwei, Shen Tianxing, and Lu Yang, what they hate most in their lives are scumbag men like the old man with dirty hands. When they saw Yan Wen really slap this scumbag man, of course they would not stop him. Instead, they applauded in their hearts and wished they could. Yan Wenzhen slapped him several times. Yan Wenzhen slapped him so hard that it hurt, and then he threw the old man with disgust. Everyone saw this old man with dirty hands falling to the ground and fainting from anger. No one came forward to help him. In the end, Fang Huiwei called several staff members to carry the old man out and drove him to the hospital for treatment. Shen Tianxing looked coldly at the group of men who were with the old man with dirty hands. They all had greasy faces and acted recklessly while drinking. Judging from their appearance, none of these men were good. Shen Tianxing coldly ordered Yan Wenzhen, Wenzhen, call someone over immediately. None of these people are good. I will investigate them all. Investigate them to the end. Yan Wenzhen immediately responded, yes. There were 7 other men in the group. When they heard Shen Tianxing's words, they all looked panicked, but they didn't seem to believe that Shen Tianxing had such energy. Among those present, except for Lu Yang and Yan Wenzhen, only Fang Huiwei and Lu Dehai, who had seen Shen Tianxing's driver's license plate, believed what Shen Tianxing said. As soon as Yan Wenzhen heard Shen Tianxing's order, he looked at these men with dead eyes, a sarcastic smile on his lips, took out his mobile phone, and made a call. As soon as the phone call came through, Yan Wenzhen's cold voice rang slowly in front of everyone, team leader sang, Miss Shen and I are here at Minjiao Tower now. Miss Shen encountered a sniper, and I took care of that person. You bring people over to Minjiao Tower immediately and bring back all the suspects here. Miss Shen said that we must investigate to the end and no one will be missed. The person on the other end of the phone was San Kai, the local leader of the Special Operations Team newly transferred to Sioux City. When he was transferred to Sioux City to serve here, the president and young Master Dugu personally summoned him and repeatedly told him to protect the safety of the Shen family and Shen Tianxing, especially Shen Tianxing, who must not let her if there is any mistake, otherwise, only he, the leader of the Special Operations Team, will ask. At this time, as soon as he heard Yan Wenzhen say that someone had done something to Shen Tianxing, cold sweat started to fall on Shang-Chi's forehead. He immediately responded, "Yes, I will take someone there right away and I will deal with it strictly." Those 7 men also felt something was wrong now. They all had the intention to retreat, and some wanted to retreat quietly. Unfortunately, just as they were about to lift their feet and slip away, they felt that their bodies couldn't move. They wanted to open their mouths to ask for help, but found that they couldn't even speak. The 7 men were so frightened that they were trembling all at once, their eyes full of fear. There were 2 timid cowards who were so frightened that they cried. The tears kept falling down and covered their faces. It was disgusting to look at them. The man named Ma Zhongke also had a look of fear on his face. He knew very well that at this time, only Lu Dehai, who was on Shen Tianxing's side, could save his life. Ma Zhongke cast his eyes on Lu Dehai for help, and blinked at Lu Dehai desperately, signaling him to quickly beg Shen Tianxing to save him. But Lu Dehai seemed to have not seen his look for help, and remained indifferent. Ma Zhongke cursed Lu Dehai in his heart that he was not a human being, and that he had no brotherhood at all. Lu Dehai couldn't help shouting in his heart when he saw Ma Zhongke's expression of being unable to move, unable to speak, with only fear, helplessness and anger on his face. It's really retribution. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 156. This Ma Zhongke had harmed him so much, yet he had the nerve to ask him to beg for mercy? Lu Dehai said poof to him in his heart. I am not a holy father, and I don't have such a big mind to tolerate you, this disaster. He, Ma Zhongke, deserves this fate. It must be that even God couldn't stand his viciousness and deeds, so he asked the wise and powerful Master Shen to come out and punish these scumbags. Thinking that he didn't need to avenge his revenge, Shen Tianxing helped him solve it with just one sentence. Lu Dehai felt even more grateful to Shen Tianxing. He felt that from the moment he met Shen Tianxing, things started to change for him. Master Shen is really the noble person in his destiny, Lu Dehai. Sanchi and the others came very quickly. 10 minutes later, he rushed to Minjiao Tower with a group of brothers from the Special Operations Team. Sankai is 28 years old and unmarried. He is not very handsome, but he has a very special temperament, and he exudes the toughness and perseverance of a man. Even if he doesn't have a handsome celebrity face, his wild aura of a man, like walking hormones, can make countless women's hearts beat and blush for him. He is very tall and has extraordinary skills. He has made great contributions to the military and his character is more trustworthy. It was precisely because of his outstanding personal achievements that he was valued by the president and Dugu Zixi and was newly assigned to Sioux City as the leader of the Special Operations Team. After Sankai shook hands with Yan Wenzhen introduced him and Shen Tianxing. Shen Tianxing also said to Shang-Chi very politely, Captain Sang, thank you for your help. Shang-Chi saluted her with a serious face and replied in a deep voice, Master Shen, you're welcome. I'll take them away first. There is no fawning or trying to please her, just executing her orders as quickly as possible. Shen Tianxing silently gave Shang-Chi a thumbs up in his heart. She released the spells of the group of men, and after watching them all being taken away by the Special Operations Team, Shen Tianxing and the others also left the Minjiao Tower under Fang Hui's enthusiasm. Now Shen Tianxing is like a local snake in Sioux City. If she wanted to do something, all she had to do was reveal it, and I don't know how many people would be willing to work for her. When they learned that Shen Tianxing had appeared at the Bureau of Land and Resources, The director of the Bureau of Land and Resources personally came out to greet her. With Lu Dehai's cooperation, the ownership of the building was changed to Shen Tianxing's name that afternoon. Shen Tianxing also gave Lu Dehai 5 million yuan and also gave him a peace charm that could keep him safe. Lu Dehai thanked him profusely. He felt extremely lucky in his heart. In his opinion, today's business was worth it. Lu Dehai was very happy, and Shen Tianxing was equally happy. She also didn't expect that the issue of the Xingzi Charitable Foundation's office building would be solved so quickly and smoothly. Shen Tianxing quickly asked Lu Yang to call Kong Zongshu, and called back Kong Zongshu, who was still looking for real estate outside. The three people had to make a comprehensive arrangement and plan for this newly purchased building in the shortest possible time. Shen Tianxing also needs to reset a feng shui array for the external and internal environment of the building to ensure that the building will have smooth sailing and good luck in the future. Shen Tianxing gave this building a new name, Xingzi Tower. According to Shen Tianxing's plan, in the future, a small supermarket will be opened on the first floor of Xingzi building. In addition to selling some daily necessities, it can also sell fruits and vegetables produced in their ecological garden. There is a restaurant on the second floor, which can not only facilitate dining for yourself and your employees, but also sell to outsiders. With the ingredients produced by Shen's ecological manner and her secret seasoning recipe, Shen Tianxing believes that the business of Xingzilu restaurant will be very good. On the third floor are various entertainment rooms, training rooms, information rooms, exhibition rooms, etc. The office on the fourth floor was well decorated by Lu Dehai, and Shen Tianxing did not make many changes. He only modified some small details and adjusted the feng shui in the building. It is still used as the office of Xingzi Charity Foundation. The fifth floor was housing, and Shen Tianxing didn't change it much. She reserved the largest and best suite for herself. Others are still used as dormitories for administrators and employees, but are no longer rented out. She doesn't like too many outsiders coming into her territory. Once more outsiders come in, although she can earn more rent, management will become complicated. For her, this was definitely a waste of money. Next, Shen Tianxing began to prepare for the formation. Lu Yang's family is engaged in real estate, so it was up to her to contact the decoration personnel to renovate Xingzi building. Kong Zongshu is responsible for obtaining business licenses, recruiting external employees, purchasing office supplies and other trivial preparations. Half a month later, on Thanksgiving Day, November 23, 2000, the Xingzi Charitable Foundation was officially established. Shen Tianxing also held a grand opening ceremony and invited the new mayor Dong Weihun and some friends from the officialdom and business circles to come and support. Du Guozixi was also present in person. He also hosted the opening ceremony and party of the Xingzi Charitable Foundation together with Shen Tianxing. The new mayor Dong Weihun also expressed his enthusiasm at the scene. On behalf of the Sioux City government departments, he will fully support the Xingzi Charitable Foundation and support the vigorous development of the Xingzi Charitable Foundation to benefit society and help those people in need to move towards a better future. Happiness, a better life. At the party, Shen Wenru was the first to take the stage. On behalf of Shen's ecological manner, he donated 100 million to Shen Tianxing's Xingzi Charity Foundation to show his strong support for his daughter's charity. Shen Tianxing stepped forward and hugged her father in emotion, smiled and said, "Dad, thank you so much." Shen Wenru smiled and patted his daughter on the back. "My little star is so great, how can Dad not support her?" With Shen Wenru taking the lead in donating, many friends from the business community also took the initiative to come on stage to donate. Mr. Liu donated 10 million in the name of Liu's real estate company. Lei Jing and his wife donated 1 million in their own names. Fu Kaofan, a wealthy man who inherited hundreds of millions of dollars in property, also donated 10 million in his own name. Lu Dehai also donated the 5 million that Shen Tianxing had transferred to him in one go, leaving Shen Tianxing dumbfounded. he was giving the entire Xingzi Tower to her for free. However, Shen Tianxing did not treat him badly and gave him a gift package that even money could not buy. For other friends who donated money, Shen Tianxing also gave them a gift bag according to the amount of their donation. Only when these people returned home did they realize that the more people donated, the better the gifts they received in return. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 157. Those who donated more saw the big gifts from Shen Tianxing when they returned home. In addition to the peace charms made by Shen Tianxing himself, there were also spiritual tea and spiritual wine that they had never drunk before. When they tasted the wonderful taste of spiritual tea and spiritual wine one by one, they were all smiles and said that this donation was so worth it. And those who donated less money were so regretful that they beat their chests after hearing about this incident. If they had known that Shen Tianxing would reciprocate gifts based on the amount of donations, they would have donated at least 10 to 20 million. They will remember this loss in their hearts. If they have another chance, they will definitely not be stingy with their wallets, they will definitely donate more, and they will not miss the opportunity to get good things from Master Shen again. When General Li, who was far away in the capital, learned that Shen Tianxing had set up a Xingzi Charity Foundation, he did not even invite members of the Li family to participate. He called Shen Tianxing very dissatisfied. I said, "Little miracle doctor, you opened a charity foundation. It's such a great and big thing, why didn't you invite our Li Ming to go? Do you think you look down on our Li Ming?" Shen Tianxing was treated like this by General Li, so he quickly smiled and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. This matter is really my fault. I missed it when I called to invite people. I am here to express my gratitude to you. I apologize. If I have a chance next time, I will definitely invite you over, okay?" Seeing that Shen Tianxing's tone was so good, General Li took the opportunity to step down and said with a cheerful smile, "Although I didn't catch up with your opening ceremony, I asked Li Ming to give it to your Xingzi Charity Foundation later. A check of 10 million is a small gift from our Li family, little god, don't refuse." Shen Tianxing chuckled and said, "Someone sends money to do good deeds. I can't ask for anything more. How can I refuse? Absolutely not. Absolutely not." When old General Li heard her teasing words, he also smiled and said, "Okay, I'll ask that guy Li Ming to contact you soon. Okay, then I will thank you on behalf of the people who have benefited." The sincerity and gratitude in Shen Tianxing's words were very helpful to General Li, and he said sincerely, "You're welcome. What the little miracle doctor does is beneficial to society and the people. Our abilities are limited, but we can help the little we can. Right?" Shen Tianxing smiled softly and said, "Yes, yes, you are right. If everyone thought like General Li and everyone was willing to give a little love, then the world would be a better place." Of course, Shen Tianxing just sighed with emotion at these words. She does good deeds more out of her own conscience, and she also wants to accumulate more merit for herself, so that God will see her more favorably, and also to make her and Xixi's cultivation path smoother and suffer less disasters. But she will never morally kidnap others just because she thinks so. Whether others want to donate or not is their business, and she will never force it. Even if others donate money to her Xingzi Charitable Foundation, she will give them a return gift and will never let them spend the money in vain. To be honest, all the things she took out as gifts were valuable treasures without a market. In addition to this return gift, Shen Tianxing also remembered their friendship. If something happens to them in the future and they have to work hard until she takes action, she will also give them face and help them solve their trouble. Therefore, they really won't suffer any loss if they donate to her Xingzi Charitable Foundation. This time, the opening charity party raised a total of more than 58 million yuan. When Su City TV station came to interview her, Shen Tianxing not only thanked the caring people who donated money, but also solemnly declared to the audience in front of the TV, Every donor of our Xingzi Charity Foundation, and the destination of all donations will be announced on the official website of Xingzi Charity Foundation, and the public is invited to monitor the operation of our Xingzi Charity Foundation. If any penny of our Xingzi Charitable Foundation has not been put into practice, we also welcome everyone to report it. Once verified, we will definitely punish the parties involved severely and will never tolerate it. Shen Tianxing also took the opportunity of this TV interview to announce the donation direction of the Xingzi Charitable Foundation. The objects that can be helped by the Xingzi Charitable Foundation include children who are out of school, families who are seriously ill and cannot afford medical treatment, and the disabled and unemployed. Soldiers, lonely elderly people, and needy families with special circumstances, etc. As long as it is verified to be true, you can get help from Xingzi Charity Foundation. But if the situation is not true, once found out, Xingzi Charity Foundation will directly transfer those scammers to the Public Security Bureau without mercy. As soon as Shen Tianxing's interview was broadcast on Suzhou TV station, the hotline of the Xingzi Charitable Foundation was almost overwhelmed. There are also countless letters sent to Xingzi Charity Foundation. On the official website of Xingzi Charitable Foundation, many people are inquiring about related donations or assistance, and the customer service staff patiently and meticulously answered them one by one. Of course, there are also some people who have doubts about Xingzi Charity Foundation. For this type of people, Shen Tianxing has only 2 words: our Xingzi Charitable Foundation is there, you can check it no matter how you want. There are many good people in this world. But there are also some people who have deep ill intentions towards society and others. Before Shen Tianxing opened the Xingzi Charitable Foundation, she had already anticipated that someone might throw dirty water on their foundation. It's just that she doesn't do anything wrong. Looking up, you can face the sky. Bend, can face the ground. She has a clear conscience in everything she does and is naturally fearless. Those who view her and ZI-11's good deeds with ill intentions as to whether they have any purpose will never know that the height she and ZI-11 stand on is something they can never imagine. For immortal cultivators like her and ZI-11, this money is just a number, a pile of paper-like things. If they don't want to do something good and help some people who live in difficulty, it is really free for them. Do not want any. This is not a false sense of superiority, but the position where everyone stands and the height they can see are different. But since she stood up to do this charity work, she had to learn to face the supervision of everyone. No matter whether others had good intentions or bad intentions, she had to bear it. Since the opening of the Xingzi Charitable Foundation, Shen Tianxing has had an additional job. She must personally read the list of people who come to apply for help, and then review and sign it. Shen Tianxing could tell whether the information of those applying for assistance was true or false by just looking at the applicants' ID cards and recent photos, and from their faces. If they want to defraud her of money, haha, she will definitely let them steal the chicken but not lose the rice. Don't tell me, there really is such a fool who comes to your door to torture me. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 158. Generally, with Shen Tianxing's final review and signature of the information applied for donation, the finance department will release the funds to the donor. Shen Tianxing was afraid that the staff would delay the review time, so she also made a special rule for this purpose: unless there are special circumstances, the entire process from application to donation should not exceed 1 week from the date of donation application. On this day, Shen Tianxing went back to the office of Xingzi Charitable Foundation after school as usual to review the information of the applicants. When she saw information about a 66-year-old old lady who had cancer and had no money for treatment, Shen Tianxing frowned when she saw a recent photo of the old lady. The face of this old lady does not look like that of a poor family, but it shows that her children are not very close and not filial. If she guessed correctly, This old lady should be unfilial to her children and would not treat her illness even if she had money. Then, they also had the idea of Xingzi Charity Foundation, trying to use the old lady's illness as an excuse. Come to them and make 1 or 200,000. These idiots really think that the money in their foundation is brought by the strong wind, and they can take whatever they want. Shen Tianxing immediately called Lu Yang and told her directly, there is a problem with this applicant's information. Tomorrow you and I will go to this person's home to conduct an investigation and return visit. Lu Yang is now responsible for the first-level information review of applicants, as well as the work of finding those in need of help and rescue. There is also a field team dedicated to return visits and surveys. For this group of people, when Shen Tianxing recruited staff, they were all retired Special Forces soldiers. Under normal circumstances, after they receive the applicant's information, Lu Yang will review it for the first time. If they think there are no problems with the applicant's information, they will assign it to the field team and let the staff of the field team review the applicant. Return visits and investigations to verify the authenticity of things. Only when there is a problem, Shen Tianxing will personally solve it. When Lu Yang heard that there was something wrong with this information, he was immediately shocked. She quickly took the information and checked it carefully again. After reading it, she asked Shen Tianxing with a puzzled look, "Master, what's wrong with this information? I personally verified this patient's medical record with the hospital, and it's true." Shen Tianxing said calmly, "This old man's cancer is real, but it's not that his family doesn't have money for treatment, but they don't give treatment. Instead, they reach out to us to make money. You say, such a scumbag, do we have to punish them and seek justice for this old man?" When Lu Yang heard this, he nodded repeatedly, Should. Such inhuman scum should be dealt with properly, and taught them how to write the word filial piety. They even want to take our charity money. Master, give him a heavy hemorrhage and teach them a lesson." Shen Tianxing nodded, "Well, let's set out together at 9 o'clock tomorrow." Lu Yang nodded, "Okay, I'll remember it." Shen Tianxing smiled at her, "It's okay, you should get off work as soon as possible." Lu Yang asked, "Aren't you leaving yet?" Shen Tianxing smiled and replied, "I still have something to do. I'll leave after it's finished." "Then I'm leaving first. Bye. Let's go." After Lu Yang left, Shen Tianxing continued to review the information of other applicants. No further problems were found in the subsequent documents, so Shen Tianxing directly signed his name and wrote a few big words "Agree" to the application. Just after reviewing the information, De Guzixi called, "Xiao Xing, are you still busy?" Shen Tianxing smiled and replied, "I just finished my work." "What about you? Are you still busy with the Legion?" De Guzixi replied, "No, I'm at home now. By the way, Xiao Xing, the auction in Kyoto is ready, it will be Sunday next week. When will those things be delivered?" Shen Tianxing said angrily, "You can also enter the space. Just go get it yourself." She had previously plundered a large amount of money and gold and silver jewelry belonging to Huang Zhengzidao and Blackthorn, as well as Lin Yuyeo's things, all of which were piled in the warehouse of the space. She had already taken out the cash, put it all into the account of the Xingzi Charity Foundation in her and Zixi's names, and used it to rescue people. But there were still a large number of antiques, calligraphy, paintings and jewelry, so Shen Tianxing asked De Guzixi to arrange a high-end auction in Kyoto to auction these treasures. De Guzixi smiled slightly and said, "Those are your hard-earned treasures. Of course, they must be approved by you. Besides, I miss you too. I want to do these things with you to make them meaningful." When Shen Tianxing heard his words, his heart warmed. She thought about the work at hand, then smiled and said to him, "Then I'll go to Kyoto next Saturday." "I'll go with you, okay." De Guzixi got the answer she wanted and smiled, "Okay. I'll listen to you." He was ready to give her a big surprise after attending the auction next Sunday. Shen Tianxing didn't know his plan, so he chatted with him for a few words and then hung up the phone. The next day happened to be Saturday, and Shen Tianxing didn't have to go to school. She had called her parents in advance and told her that she would not go home because she had work today. Shen Tianxing finished breakfast with Dugu Zixi in the space, and then left the space and walked out of the room. Yan Wenzhen was having breakfast in the living room. When he saw her coming out, he quickly stuffed half of the bun into his mouth and finished it in 3 times. Then he asked her, "Xiao Xing, where are you going today?" Shen Tianxing replied, "Let's go to Xingzi Tower first." Good. Shen Tianxing counted the time and arrived at the office over at Xingzi building. He found that Lu Yang and Kong Zongshu had already come to work. This is not because she exploited them, but because they had too much work and she took the initiative to work overtime. They all feel that the work they do is very meaningful. They are willing to pay a little more for this job, and never complain, and never find it too hard. On the contrary, they feel that with their help, they can see families in difficulty and even despair come back to life, which is hard work. Worth. Although Shen Tianxing did not give them additional overtime pay, he would give them additional benefits and bonuses every time they were paid. After Shen Tianxing and Lu Yang met, they got into the 5-star car driven by Yan Wenzhen and drove towards Zhang Weining's home in the suburbs where he had applied for assistance. Little did they know that just when the car of the 3 of them drove into Wutong village where Zhang Weining was located, they heard bursts of tear-jerking sorrow. Shen Tianxing's scalp went numb for a moment, as if he had a premonition of something. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 159. When the 5-star car passed by a small shop in the village, Shen Tianxing said to Yan Wenzhen in a deep voice, "Wenzhen, go down and ask, whose family has died in this village?" Yes, Yan Wenzhen immediately parked the car on the side of the road. When the 5-star car just passed by, there were 4 or 5 idle people sitting in the small shop in the village talking about it. Tell me, this car, which looks very high-end, is a relative or friend of someone in the village. Could it be that you went to Mrs. Zhang's house for the funeral? TCH, how is that possible? If Mrs. Zhang really had such rich relatives, she wouldn't have ended up in such a tragic end today. SHH, stop talking. The car has stopped. They were happily guessing when they saw that the car had indeed stopped. Then they saw Yan Wenzhen, who was tall and pretty, getting out of the car and walking towards the shop. They felt that Yan Wenzhen, a cold-faced woman, was definitely not easy to deal with. He immediately shut his mouth, for fear of getting into trouble. Yan Wenzhen walked into the shop, glanced sharply, then looked at the middle-aged shop owner and asked, "Boss, may I ask how to get to Zhang Weining's house?" Everyone in the small store was shocked and their eyes were filled with shock. They actually went to Mrs. Zhang's house? The shop owner smiled and asked, "Are you relatives of the Zhang family?" Yan Wenzhen shook his head, "We came here to see Zhang Weining on some official business." The shop owner was stunned for a moment, and then said with regret, "Then you guys are late. Mrs. Zhang went there yesterday. I thought you were here for the Zhang family's funeral." Yan Wenzhen asked again, "Didn't you say she was just sick? Why did she disappear so quickly?" The shop owner sighed softly, "This matter, oh, it's really hard to say." Another middle-aged man in the shop snorted and said, "What's wrong? It's just those unfilial children of Mrs. Zhang who made her mad. I heard them yesterday morning. There was a quarrel at home, and it seemed that it was about money. In the afternoon, I heard that Mrs. Zhang had all gone, so she must be very angry with these unfilial descendants." Yan Wenzhen looked as if he had suddenly realized something. She asked again, then do you know that Mrs. Zhang went to the Xingzi Charity Foundation in the city to apply for a charity medical treatment fund of 150,000 yuan? As soon as Yan Wenzhen said these words, these people suddenly exclaimed, isn't it? Damn it, this fat guy Zhang is really humming evil. He has money himself, not only does he not treat his mother's illness, he also keeps treating her. His mother left it in her hometown and never paid attention to it. He must have done this application for charity funds. That's right. I was still thinking yesterday about why the three brothers and sisters came back. I thought they discovered it because of their conscience. Why didn't God strike such a heartless bastard with a thunderbolt and kill him? Well, to be honest, it's a relief that this old lady is gone. Yan Wenzhen asked again as if he didn't understand, didn't I say before that Mrs. Zhang's son was in debt and had no money to treat him? The middle-aged man who scolded Fatty Zhang before scoffed and said, that's the excuse he made because he didn't want to cure his mother. Fatty Zhang has several apartments in the city and several storefronts for rent. Will he not have any money? What a joke. When Yan Wenzhen heard this, he could almost restore the truth of the whole thing. She said to the shop owner and the middle-aged man, thank you. Let's go to Mrs. Zhang's house and take a look. The middle-aged man just stood up and said, shall I take you there? In fact, he also wanted to follow him to see the excitement and see who Yan Wenzhen and the others were. What are you here for again? Yan Wenzhen nodded towards him, thank you then. Back in the car, Yan Wenzhen briefly explained to Shen Tianxing and Lu Yang the situation he had just asked about. When Shen Tianxing released his consciousness just now, he had already heard what they said. But Lu Yang didn't know that Shen Tianxing didn't stop Yan Wenzhen from speaking. Shen Tianxing asked Lu Yang in a cold voice, who is following up on the field investigation of Mrs. Zhang's application? For such an obvious money fraud, no one from the field team has investigated it. When Lu Yang saw that Shen Tianxing's expression was not good, she felt trembling in her heart. Lu Haiming did the field investigation of this application. Let's check it out carefully when we get back to see what happened to him. Shen Tianxing gave a soft hum and said nothing more. Yan Wenzhen had already started the car, followed the middle-aged man, and drove towards Zhang Weining's house again. Zhang Weining's family. The old lady's son, the fat man, had bright eyes. As soon as he saw a 5-star luxury car approaching, he watched eagerly. When he saw this 5-star luxury car parked in front of his house, Fat Man Zhang immediately rushed forward with a flattering smile on his face, waiting for the people in the car to get out of the car. In his opinion, no matter who is sitting inside, the person who can afford such a 5-star luxury car is definitely not an ordinary person. Other relatives and fellow villagers who came to Zhang's house to help also came out to watch the fun. As soon as Yan Wenzhen, Lu Yang, and Shen Tianxing got off the car, Fat Man Zhang greeted them with a smile, "Three beauties, who are you looking for?" Yan Wenzhen glanced at him and asked calmly, "Is this Zhang Weining's house?" When Fat Man Zhang heard that he was indeed coming to his house, he immediately smiled and said, yes, this is Zhang Weining's home, and Zhang Weining is my mother. I wonder who you are. Shen Tianxing saw that this fat man had killed his mother, and there was no expression of sadness or sorrow on his face. Even now, he only remembered to please others and wanted to see what benefits he could get. She directly used her consciousness and planted a mantra spell in Fatty Zhang's brain. When Shen Tianxing saw that there were many people surrounding him, he asked him directly, "Mr. Zhang, I heard that Mrs. Zhang is dead. How did she die? Can you tell us?" The fat man's fat face, which was originally smiling, was instantly filled with evil spirits, and he cursed loudly, "That old immortal, I applied for a charity fund for her, but she actually yelled at us and said she wouldn't let me get it. The charity fund even threatened me with death. When I was so angry, I covered her up with a quilt. I didn't expect that this old immortal would actually die, he. As soon as he said this, the relatives and villagers of the Zhang family standing around him all froze in place with shock on their faces. Fat Guy Zhang's wife was so angry when she heard what he said that she pinched him hard and slapped him loudly and scolded him, "You damn drunkard, what are you talking about? Are you drinking again? Are you still not happy? Go inside and burn paper for the old lady." Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 160. But at this time, the fat man Zhang seemed to be possessed by an evil spirit. Not only did he ignore his wife's attempts to save him, but he also yelled at her, "What's wrong with me? I'm telling the truth, I just want to that old immortal should die quickly. Ha ha ha, now that the immortal is really dead, weren't you very happy before? In the future, our family will no longer have to be scolded as unfilial descendants. How great, ha 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 ha." Mrs. Zhang's younger brother, Mr. Zhang, has always known that his nephew is not very filial to his sister. But the old man never expected that this nephew was not only unfilial, but also dared to kill his mother with his own hands. Old man Zhang was so angry that he was about to explode. He picked up the pole lying next to him and hit Fatty Zhang hard on the back. While beating him, the old man cursed loudly, "You beast! You dare to kill your own mother! You are really not a human being. Why did my sister have such a miserable life and give birth to such a beast son like you? Ah, I will seek justice for my sister today, I will beat you to death, you are a beast, I will beat you to death, you are a beast." When Uncle Zhang's sons and daughters-in-law saw their father and father-in-law's faces flushed with anger, they were afraid that the old man would also suffer a stroke from anger, so they hurried forward to stop him. "Dad, don't be angry. If my body is broken by anger, what can we do?" "That's right, Dad, don't be angry. If my cousin really does something treasonous, we can just send him to the Public Security Bureau and let the police arrest him." Mr. Zhang gradually calmed down after being dissuaded by his son and daughter-in-law. He gasped and said to his son, "Liang, call the police immediately. This beast dares to kill my sister. I will make him pay with his life to comfort my sister's spirit in heaven." When Fat Man Zhang's wife heard this, her legs softened with fear, and she knelt directly in front of Mr. Zhang, hugged Mr. Zhang's thigh, and cried loudly, "My good uncle, please don't call the police. The fat guy is really just drunk. That's why he is talking nonsense. He really didn't kill my mother-in-law. He really didn't kill my mother-in-law. Uncle, I beg you, please let him go, let him go." Uncle Zhang glared at her, kicked her away, pointed at her, and cursed loudly. "Wang Xiaju, don't think that I don't know what bad character you have. Fatty was not that bad before. It was only after he married a bad woman like you that he was led into bad ways by you. If you hadn't been there all day long, if you whisper in his ears, will he become worse than this beast? Get out of here. Get out of here." He turned to his son and said, "Liang, if you don't hurry up and call the police, go and call the police immediately. This damn inhuman beast, if he doesn't pay for it with his life, I will be sorry for my old sister who died in vain." At this moment, everyone suddenly heard a police car siren sounding. Beep, beep. The sound of police cars came closer and closer. Soon, everyone saw two police cars driving over quickly and stopped on the road next to Zhang's house. Four national police officers in police uniforms and a female forensic doctor in a white coat quickly got out of the car. They glanced around, then took long strides one by one and walked towards Shen Tianxing. Shen Tianxing raised her eyes and saw that the person leading the team was Zhang Yuquan, the detachment leader of the Public Security Bureau whom she had greeted in advance. The other three people were also acquaintances of hers, namely the criminal investigation captain Tong Xiaobo, and police officers Qi Li and Fu Dalei. Although Zhang Yuquan is very familiar with Shen Tianxing, in public places, he looks like a businesslike, Cold-faced police officer. It is absolutely impossible to tell that he has any relationship with Shen Tianxing. Zhang Yuquan walked up to Shen Tianxing, nodded to her, blinked, and then looked at the crowd and asked in a deep voice, "We received a report that someone suspected that Mrs. Zhang Weining was murdered. Please ask Zhang Weining relatives come forward." When Shen Tianxing figured out that there was something fishy about Zhang Weining, she greeted Zhang Yuquan and asked him to get people ready and wait for her call. Just now, she cast a mantra spell on Fat Man Zhang and made him admit that he was the one who killed his mother. Shen Tianxing secretly sent a message to Zhang Yuquan, asking him to bring his troops to arrest him immediately. Now as soon as Zhang Yuquan spoke, Mr. Zhang excitedly pointed at Fatty Zhang and said, "Comrade Public Security, arrest this beast quickly." He himself admitted just now that he was the one who covered his mother to death. It was him, and he was the murderer. Zhang Yuquan nodded, looked at the excited old man Zhang, and persuaded him, "Old man, don't be excited, we will definitely investigate this matter clearly, and if it is really him, we will definitely give the old lady justice." With tears in his eyes, Mr. Zhang nodded fiercely, Okay, I believe in you, and I'm just waiting for you to give my sister justice." Zhang Yuquan walked up to the fat man Zhang, who looked stupid, and asked him in a deep voice, "Did you kill old Mrs. Zhang Weining?" Fatty Zhang nodded dully, "Yes. I killed him. I killed him." Zhang Yuquan asked him again, "Why did you kill her, old man?" The muscles on the fat guy's face twisted for a while, and he said with a look of hatred, "She didn't let me apply for a charity fund. She said that if I did, she would expose me for cheating money. She just hit me to death. She also scolded me. I was so angry that I covered her with a quilt." Hearing this, a hint of coldness flashed across Zhang Yuquan's eyes. He asked again, "Then when you killed your mother, did you have any accomplices?" "My wife was also there and she knew it." As soon as the fat man Zhang's wife heard his answer, she was so angry that she fainted before she could even breathe. Tong Xiaobo immediately walked up to her, stretched out his hand and pinched her forehead hard, causing the woman to wake up from the pain. Before she could react, Tong Xiaobo had already taken out the handcuffs, cuffed her hands directly, and lifted her up. Zhang Yuquan was just as fast on his side. He also took out handcuffs and cuffed the fat man Zhang. The female forensic doctor, Qi Li, and Fu Dalei, another national police officer, went into the room and carried out the body of old lady Zhang Weining. Uncle Zhang took a step forward, stopped them, and asked in a choked voice, "Comrade Public Security, do you have to take away my sister's body?" Zhang Yuquan gently patted old Uncle Zhang on the shoulder, "Uncle, don't worry, we are just taking old Mrs. Zhang back to check the cause of death. After the inspection is completed, we will notify you to pick up old Mrs. Zhang's body." After hearing Zhang Yuquan's explanation, Mr. Zhang nodded, "Then I'll leave you a phone number. You can let me know when the time comes."